I'm cracking up because my cue card says it's Wednesday, but it's not.
Oh, that's right.
What's up? It's time to drink wine and talk about design, and it does not matter what day it is.
It's true.
At all. I'm Sandra Funk, and this is Design Sips, and we are talking about finances today. And to that, cheers.
Cheers. Here we go. Hello.
Cheers, people.
Hello, Kate. Hello, Brenda. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, lovelies. Okay, let's do this. Finances, design. Hit me with the questions. Go.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We have so much prepared for you. All right.
No, but it's a great topic. So for those of you who are watching and joining, definitely hit us up with your questions because this is the time to have Sandra answer your questions.
It is our most asked question always is about money, budgets, what to charge, finances, all of that. And so we really wanted to obviously touch on this topic, and then please let us know if you have questions and we will continue to work it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think before we dive into the topic today, Sandra, we have some exciting announcements that might be, fun to share. We've been working on a designer entrepreneur product, and I think we, kind of want to just give it a name and share it out loud.
So I've been dropping hints, like little breadcrumbs. We are developing a product for entrepreneurs that are also designers, and that's pretty much a lot to say. So finally, so excited to announce that we have a name and we are ready to share it with you. So it is going to be called the Design Standard, and it is a really thorough template about how we run our interior design business. So it's all about all of those details, everything that you need to do it kind of the House of Funk way. So we are, I'm welcoming a couple extra friends that are coming to visit. Welcome, come sit, grab some wine.
Hi, I'm so sorry. No, come in. We have a seat for you. We love when we have live. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hi.
I'm so sorry.
All right, Tammy from Bold Interior Design, also in Montclair here, has joined us. And cheers to company. Cheers. All right, for 1 minute, everybody with a glass, get up here. Let's show them how many cups we got in the room. I am not drinking alone. Much cheers. See? Not alone. Hashtag never alone.
Never alone.
Right? There's children in bed somewhere and I have wine nearby. I'm never alone. Okay. Finances, design.
Yes.
Oh, I think I brushed over that because we had Tammy showed up.
Yeah.
Okay. So the name is the Design Standard, and that comes from over and over and over again having conversations with designers at events, at markets, everywhere I go, and this constant comment, which is, we all do it different, there's no one way to do it, and there's no standards in our industry. And so the idea being that we are looking to raise the bar of our standards, and therefore our level of respect, and therefore the fees we command, and thus we have named it the Design Standard.
Woo!
Air clap. Good.
And on that note too, Sandra, we have so many DMs from designers asking us questions and really wanting to get your advice and take on anything. So why don't we tell them about our newly launched Designers with Standards VIP session?
Yes. So again, we have all this, the parking lot, walking back to the car talks, all those after session talks about digging into the details. And so, and I'm still running a full-on design firm in the background somewhere. So we wanted to create an environment where we could ask those more specific questions. So we always knew we would do this when we launched the Design Standard. Spring of 2020, that we would have sort of a VIP level group customer service, customer experience, etc. But you'd have to be a Design Standard customer to be eligible to be in the group. But what we decided to do is to kind of do a 0 year. So for 1 year only, you don't have to have purchased the Design Standard, because you can't yet, because it's not available yet, to be a part of the VIP sessions. And the VIP sessions are sort of like an ongoing conversation of anything that we discuss when we're presenting, when we're speaking at market, when we're doing design tips, when we're putting out content on our newsletter. It's all about the nitty-gritty business of interior design, and that naturally promotes a lot of follow-up questions and details about how you actually make that in your business implemented, installed, and it's also, I think, a fair amount of like, you've got this, you can do it, on shifting, to a flat fee, or shifting how you price, or shifting how you speak about all of these fun finances. So you'll be seeing that as well as an option. You can DM us, and we'll send you the direct link. We'll also have it, we can put a link to that in our link in bio page, right?
Our first one's June 11th at 2:30 p.m. So if you're interested, just DM us and we'll send you the link directly.
Limited seating.
Yes.
Yeah, limited seating.
We're keeping it small because we're guaranteeing you, when you check out, you can put your question right there, and we're guaranteeing that we will address each and every question. So we're not getting carried away with the number of people that can come for that reason.
Yeah. So we have a question from Brenda Nath. She says, making exterior and interior choices for a builder's spec home. Do I charge by the square foot? I'm very excited. My first time to charge for my work.
Oh, good for you. Nice, Brenda. Congrats. Okay. Definitely per square foot. I think that model is normal in a spec environment, and it's also the model that I prescribe to in commercial, in residential, in all of it. Because again, with the data of having done this for so long, I know what it's taken me to do a gut renovation, a decoration only, a light millwork plus decoration. Same thing in commercial spaces. There are some kind of standards out there where you can look at price per square foot for doing the spec. And then you just really need to get clear with them, is that every single piece of millwork, are you doing every single paint color, every single finish? Are you there on site picking the floor color, stain, how far are you taking it? Is it every light fixture, every plumbing? Are you doing the tile layouts? Does that require elevations, or is that just pointing to the tile you like best and they'll figure it out? So you really need to clarify all those details and then price accordingly.
Cool. Awesome. Tammy, feel free to jump in with any questions at any point. That is our flow here. So Sandra, I think, for finance, one of the things we talk about is like monthly goal setting, and like why that's even important to have in the first place. Can we use that as a jumping point?
Yes, definitely. So we've been debating this all day. Can we jump right into the title of it? Okay. So we do a goal setting, which is obviously based on how much we want to have profit left at the end of the day. So how much we want to sell, offset against our fixed expenses, offset against our variable expenses, right? Because we can do some extra fun things as long as we don't start cutting into our profits and our sales are where they're supposed to be. So there's a lot, the word budget comes out naturally of our mouths, and I cringe. And I think you guys have to tell me. We're gonna vote later on Instagram. You have to tell me if you also cringe when you hear the word budget. Like, to me, that is just the uncomfortable conversation that I'm having after a day of shopping and the credit card bill has hit the mailbox. I don't like it. I don't want to talk about it. Give me a heart if you are hiding under the covers like me when that bill comes, and give me a thumbs up if you're like, I love budgets. I live to budget.
A lot of hearts flowing right now.
Okay, good, because this is a no-go.
Yeah.
I am a crazy, careful, cautious person. If you've heard me speak, like at Luann's event recently, I was speaking, and there was this whole thing about, like, when I first signed a lease to move out of my basement, the home office, I just couldn't pull the trigger on that lease until I didn't just know I could cover that monthly expense, but I literally had the full 2-year lease in the bank. Should all hell break loose and I have a signed contract for a lease, that I could handle that. Now I'm a little more loose with my lease. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, the first time taking a step like that, I needed to be locked down for my comfort. Like, I didn't want to be waking up in the middle of the night, like, oh my God, what if? I just can't. So I'm very careful with my money, but at the same time, the word budget is like a nasty, not 4-letter word in my opinion. So.
And so how do you go about, can we talk through a little more about goal setting? So for some of these new business owners.
I got on a tangent, a rant about the word budget. My apologies. The whole point is, and this is like maybe way too woo-woo, but I think about it as wealth manifestation, right? I think of it as who do I want to be? Where do I want to be? What level do I want to live at? What level of comfort and sanity and sleeping through the night ease do I want to create? That, to me, is more about the word wealth than it is about the word budget. Budget is a low fear-based word. Wealth is a positive manifesting woo-woo word.
I like that.
I like that.
This desk is humongous. We turned the room around today. Give me a little thumbs up or a heart if you like our rearrange. I don't know. We have too many people in the office now that we can't have it the other way.
Lazy Eye Design says cheers to that. So then, hold on, we have a question. What tools do you recommend to budget and goal set?
Okay. I'm going to circle back one more time. So obviously there's like a positive vibe and like a positive move when I say wealth manifestation instead of budget, which feels low. Higher energy, right? But the whole point of this is what you focus on increases. So where you put your attention and where you put your, that's all I got, attention, is increases. So if you focus on fear or you focus on lack in any way, shape, or form, you have more fear and lack. If you focus on wealth creation, if you focus on manifesting your future, that is what you get. It doesn't matter. So when people, it's like the old example of like the war on drugs is focusing on drugs. It's not a great thing. So you really want to focus on healthy living, wellness, your best life. Like you really want to shift focus at like a core level, and then your life shifts focus. So the focus on not and the focus on anti and the focus on war on, it sort of blows up in your face. Which did.
Yeah.
Cheers.
That was really good. Slow standing clap. We have a lot of new friends joining. Let's say hello and just remind them what we're talking about.
We are talking finances in design. And this is Design Tips. I'm Sandra Funk. We are having a little cocktail. Please pour your own. And give me a thumbs up or a heart to show me you're cheersing. And I would love to answer your questions. Send them now live, or of course DM me as things marinate and process. I get a lot of DMs the next day on topics and whatnot. So
yeah, absolutely. And then let's circle back to the question of what tools do you recommend to budget and goal
set? Do you like how I'm never answering the question? She actually answered. Wait, there's a thought. Completely different.
And one other question before it slides away: do you work to price out a client's whole home or focus on room by room?
All right, excellent question on that. So what I use to budgets, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, straight up simple Excel is kind of a great baseline.
Ooh, Excel.
Woohoo to Excel, that's right. As a super dorky former finance major, that was where I lived for my college time. I also like it because I will literally sit there with, and I cannot wait to tell you guys this, we are gifting to you my Excel budget spreadsheet. And we're
more on that in a minute.
More on that
deserves a whole other moment.
So not only do I have a tool, but I'm giving it to you. The Excel spreadsheet, it's amazing in my opinion. And again, I think we're switching to wealth creation, wealth manifestation. We'll see how woo I can get my team to go. They like to stay in the lines. But my wealth manifestation, I'm going to call it, for lack of a better word. We're going to vote later. Please vote. Spreadsheet is, for me, it's all about, I put in my fixed numbers, right? My rent is my rent. I've signed a lease. I take the average of the past 2 years as the number that I move forward with to the next year, unless I'm positive it's going to increase. So payroll increases if I hire another employee or I know I want to. So we'll creep that number up appropriately. But otherwise, things like utilities, things like PR spend, unless I'm hiring a new PR agent or photographing 5 jobs instead of 3 jobs this year, those numbers can be kind of consistent. But you take the average of your past 2 years and you pop those in. I get to the point where I feel like those numbers can't move that much, right? Like I really want to do that same level or a little bit better baseline administration top line expenses. And then where I start to play is how much I want to make and how much sales I have to create in my business and how many clients I can take on and what that average price per client should be and like all of those metrics. I will sit there and run scenarios, right? And pop in numbers until I feel like there is an exciting but attainable goal. And that is what we focus on. So we have a monthly goal, and it's something that I have then layers. Then I have an Asana that comes through weekly. And so every week I update where we're sitting according to our monthly goal so that I can see us chipping away at it throughout the month. And then as the month closes, I know I've either made it or didn't make it, and it has to roll forward into the next month. The spreadsheet also will show me the over-under so that I know what's happening. So in design and in a lot of creative businesses, it's lumpy, right? It is like crickets in January, February, and then we get, we start going and and then we install everything right before the holidays, right? That's the deadline of all deadlines. So the budget goes like this, but I have the confidence to know that. So I see in the beginning of the year, and then when we switch, usually right in the middle of the year, we switch to profitability, and we've covered our baseline expenses, and the rest is sort of gravy. It's really good to get to June. But also, thank God.
Yeah, cheers to June.
Cheers to get to June. Cheers, working it out. And when I was younger in the business, I didn't have that overhead. So I wasn't running at a deficit, but I was running, I wasn't gonna run a lot of PR or a lot of overhead, or I was still in my basement until I felt like, okay, I have the rhythm of this down. I have faith that it's gonna be a little shaky first quarter, second quarter, just depends. Third and fourth quarter, we blow it out of the water. We can't figure out when we're supposed to do our holiday shopping and our gift wrapping because we're so slammed. And then we basically take a nap in January. Yeah. So, but just for 4 days. And then everyone puts their Christmas decorations away and it starts again, right?
Yes.
Did I answer the question?
No, I don't know. I have to go back. We're getting a lot of love and this is really helpful.
More wine.
Okay, hold on. I just wanted to see her question. No, her question was, do you work to price out a client's whole home or focus room by room? I wanted to just get back to that.
Definitely did not answer that one. Okay, so whatever the scope is, we work through in our first phase. So our first phase is conceptual design. So we're working through to get the layout right, the aesthetic direction confirmed, so regurgitating back to the client what they've told us with some images and some high-level selections. If it's a bathroom, some high-level tile and faucetry selections. If it's a living room, some high-level shapes of upholstery and fabrics. See what I'm saying? We kind of push back on that client and say, are we going in the right direction? And then budget. And we budget everything. And sometimes that's so scary that our clients go running and crawl in a hole. But it's real. It's the truth of what it looks like to complete a room to the level of what is photographed on our portfolio. That doesn't mean that every single client is going to do that level, but that's the level that we budget to because we always design their very, very best possible completed outcome, and then we let us know if we need to roll it back from there.
Yeah.
Just want to try something.
And we're trying something. Does anybody want to tell me what you're drinking? We're drinking.
Yeah, we're drinking a Josh Chardonnay.
Chardonnay. This is truly one of my faves, which is why it's sliding down so.
Oh, this is someone's question. Okay. So why don't you pour us some more wine, Sandra? And we got a question.
That's right.
What happens?
Who needs a bill?
I'll take a bill. Okay. What happens if you don't meet your monthly goal?
So if you don't meet your monthly goal, you used your points to book your high point flights. You sleep 2 to a bed when you get to high. No, you shrink. You pull it in. You start being more cautious. You try to figure out if you can get by with the protractor you've got instead of the new fancy one. You go on the austerity program. The answer is not get a line of credit. The answer is roll it back. And the answer is always, I don't care what is going on in your business, keep marketing, okay? And marketing does not need to be expensive. You can do all the guerrilla rogue marketing. We were talking about how I spend a lot of time on real estate websites because I love houses and I love looking inside of beautiful homes. So I'm just randomly there a lot. And it finally dawned on me like, oh, well, let's share our favorites. Let's ping those realtors. Let's keep in touch. Like, I'm already there. So some of that marketing is you're already there. I'm already on Pinterest all the time because I'm putting together that concept board during the conceptual design meeting. I'm regurgitating, you say you want modern, you say you want warm, you say you want la 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 la. I'm trying to find an image that helps me say, are we on the right track? Are we good? So then so I pin it to my client board that's private, but I'll go ahead and pin it to my public kitchen board or my public bathroom board. And certainly when the project is done and we're kind of closing down that private Pinterest board, we'll take every single thing that got pinned in there and pin it back out to those public boards before we shut that down and archive it. Because that is, that's so valuable because that's a designer's perspective on what's happening now in interior design live. And it's not on delay. It's right now. It's when we're in concept. And then the project is 8 months and then it takes 2 months to photograph and then a year and a half later it finally hits a magazine. So like Pinterest is interesting. If you go back and look at a designer's boards, they are 2 years ahead of what you're going to see in a magazine trend-wise, which I think is really great. And like a good little tip for someone who's looking to like get inspired.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms with clients, are there things that designers can do to be proactive about making an extra sale here or there, or not maybe a sale, but something they could do to hit that goal?
Okay, so yes. So number one is the client you have is always better to service and expand the scope than the client you don't have. So I do not want to hear one griping word about scope creep. It is the best thing that ever happened to you. You need to charge appropriate. Okay, cheers.
Scope creep. Come on, girls,
Cheers.
let's do it.
So far away. Cheers. I know. Cheers. Okay. It's like I'm like so far away from everyone. It's like I'm drinking alone. All right. So scope creep. So if you are charging appropriately and you have things in place to handle scope creep so that you are compensated for it, it's the best thing that ever happened to you. You're already on the job site. You already know you work well together. And if you don't, you're too busy to take on more work. Like, cut and run. If you don't work well together and they're making you lose sleep, get the heck out of there. I'm sorry. There is a designer out there that will be right for them. If you know you're not it, it's gonna no sleepless nights. Those are not okay. So, but scope creep is the ultimate, in my opinion, on growing into your sales goals, right? Asking if there's anything else they can help you with. Asking if there's friends that you know. Obviously, asking for referrals is wonderful. It's not natural for me, but there's a simple line that is, I would love more clients like you. If you know them, send them to me. Like, you guys are wonderful. You know, like a very simple and authentic. And when it's true, it's true, and it comes out of your mouth easy. When it's not true, don't say it because you sound like a dork. Insert other word that starts with a D that you know I wanted to say. There is, you know, like, again, when it's right, it's natural, and when it's not right, don't do it. Just don't.
And how do you keep up those relationships with old clients? Like, even if the relationship has ended, maybe a year later, you can.
Oh, so one of the things that we do every single year and have since the beginning of time, I started this business with a bunch of holiday cards. So I was at Conran Shop under the 59th Street Bridge. Give me a heart if you remember that, way back. I found this beautiful set of like hand-drawn cards. Included my brand new business cards that I just printed online and said, I'm going on my own. I'd love to know if there's anything that you need design-wise or you know anyone who does. And I launched a business on some holiday cards. And so kind of in homage to that, and also because it's real and authentic and it works, we always do a blowout holiday card. And part of what's fun about it is it always includes all the work that hasn't been published yet. So it's before the magazines get it. So often my holiday card, again, a year, 8 months later, will be published, and you've had like a sneak peek because we can't share it online. We can't put it out in the world that way, but there's nothing to say we can't put it in a card that we send to private home addresses. So that's a great little portfolio moment. It's a great sneak peek into like what's about to get published. And it's a wonderful way to say, like, you're part of my network, you're part of the House of Funk family. Once you're a client of ours, you're always a client of ours, in our opinion, we hope in yours too. And just staying in touch, you know, and of course there's things too, like I get from clients all the time, I saw this article, I thought you'd love it. Like, very smart to, you know, if something you see triggers a client, like, cut it out, take a photo of it, send the link, stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we have a question. How do you decide what the ideal number is to be profitable?
I don't decide that. I let Excel decide that. I literally sit there, again, I get my fixed expenses in, semi-fixed, right? Because you can always pull back if you need to, but the ideal, what I want to do, right? And then I sit there and fiddle with how much sales I think I can pull off and what my bottom line looks like with that sales number. And so then I will up it a little bit and go, okay, and take it back if worst case scenario happens, and I will play with it until there is a baseline number and there's a reach number. And for me, again, it's so lumpy. I know I'm not going to hit it the first 3 months. I just know that it's like, it is how we roll. But I know I'm going to kill it in the last quarter every year. So I allow myself some breathing room with that, and because of that, I just know, keep going, keep going, keep going, stay the course, keep going. And then if you know, again, you want your goals to be realistic but a reach, right?
Yeah.
You want to stretch yourself and you want to manifest more, but you want to be a realist and you want it to be based on historic as well. So a good benchmark is take the average of the last 2 or 3 years on any line in our wealth manifestation spreadsheet. So that includes sales, that includes design fees, that includes product sales, that includes all of it. And then what you might start to see is that true profitability and true wealth creation might not be possible at your current rate or your current selling technique. So if you're not buying at the deepest possible wholesale available to you, you might not have enough room in your sales to make true wealth. You may be cutting yourself short. Similarly, in your flat fee or in your hourly rate, if you're still on hourly rate, you may not have enough to cover your baseline. So what we kind of do is we kind of have our design fee covers our baseline expenses, and our purchasing is our wealth creation. That's kind of how I think of it. Like, I can cover my administrative expenses that way, and then, you know, not entirely, because all the time that goes into the purchasing and the execution of the purchasing is covered by the purchasing, but all the design work that happens before the purchasing starts needs to be covered by that fee. And then all the work that goes into purchasing plus needs to happen over there. And the reason why it's plus is because we have really, really carefully and very strategically negotiated crazy deep discounts with our top vendors so that we can be not in survival, but in wealth creation.
And what's your advice for designers who are like, what does going for that wholesale discount look like? I feel like I hate most of my reps. Like, how do I get there?
Yeah, okay, switch reps.
Yeah, and also really quick, I just want to say thanks to Style by Mimi for saying, hey Sandra, thanks for sharing your brilliance with us. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you. All right, sorry, Sarah, back to your question.
Sorry.
It's really good.
But okay, so how do you talk to those designers who are like, wholesale, like my reps are like, I only get design discount. Like, how do I get that wholesale?
Okay, so this all starts with asking questions. So I don't even know how this came up into our life, but
High Point.
High Point. We were watching a panel. Luann Nigera of Well Designed Business was moderating, and we were there to support the peeps. And we were talking to, it was creating multiple streams of income. And at the time, the multiple streams of income that they were creating was there was like a boutique thing going on, where there was like a boutique in the design firm. But what they all were fixated on and were focusing on was that the boutique aspect allowed them to have wholesale pricing instead of designer pricing. In like the span of 25 minutes, I was like, we are gonna go home and have a boutique. That's all there is to it. We're buying at a level that is not commensurate with true profitability. We are off the top instead of a true discount. So typically designer discount is 20 to 30 off retail. Wholesale discount is what is it? 30 to 66.66 off retail. Okay? So 20 to 30, 30 to 66.66. And survival of the fittest is get yourself a wholesale discount. So what we did was we went to every single vendor that we spend buku bucks with anyway, that we love, that we know are high quality, great customer service, stand by their product, that is number one. And we said, how do we get to that wholesale level? Like, you welcome sales at wholesale levels. Mm-hmm. You're looking for volume at that level. How do we get there? And they were, a lot of the times it came down to a conversation where it was a annual minimum, an initial buy-in, and having some items on the floor. So we looked at it, we took all that information down, we put it in Asana, and then we really kept track, and we decided, some of them we were already buying at that deepest level because we did the initial order back then, and it was just always set up that way, thank God. But a bunch we needed to dig in deeper with, and that meant a big chunky opening order and a guarantee annually. So we didn't just go scattershot all over. We know what our sales are on average, right? We just talked about that. So I worked with Ashley in our All Things Numbers world, and we set up how many of these accounts can we realistically support, because we can't take on more than we can actually handle. So we already have these, and they expect X amount per year. We could add one more easily. Okay, we could add two more, but if they were buying at that deeper discount, like it was a really great conversation, and it was completely like expanded our business abilities tenfold. Also, it's really great when you go really deep with a handful of vendors, 10 let's say, instead of scattershot across the entire industry. Your knowledge is so much deeper on each vendor. You know if it's 8-way hand tied, you know if it's kiln dried wood, you know if those joints are dovetailed, you know if it's glued and screwed, you know everything about that product because you've been selling it 50,000 deep for 10 years, right? Instead of, oh, I don't know if to check, I'm not sure, I'll check, I'll double check. Like, it's just a different level, and it's a different selling position too.
Speaking of Ashley, what's up, Ashley? Thanks for joining, girl.
All Things Numbers, thank you for your spreadsheet knowledge. Yeah, was that it?
Yeah. Some of those vendors we had to said no, and we had to make a decision of we're gonna have to go elsewhere.
Yes, when a vendor won't play ball, my question to them is, so furniture store after furniture store after furniture store is closing, going out of business everywhere I look. Are you sure you don't want to widen your spectrum and include a designer who can guarantee you $50,000 in sales a year? Are you sure? Are you positive you want to say no to me? And when they do. Move on.
Yeah.
There's lots of brands out there who are willing to play.
Yeah, lots of brands. And also, this concept, this way of negotiating does not mean I can't buy a one-off item from that brand that didn't want to play ball. Like, sometimes the right dining table is not in your 10 people. It's over there. And also, you're going to, like, have those moments where you do some, like, feature stuff that's totally outside of your norm, just to spice up a room and to bring some interest to it. So it's not restrictive whatsoever, but it is our starting point. We start each project in those 10 vendors and get a nice baseline, and then we start to go outside. And it's important that those 10 vendors, for me, have finish options, upholstery COM. I do not want to be restricted to someone else's fabric choices. Quality through the roof, customer service through the roof, and reasonable lead times. If they can't deliver that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Question. What do you suggest if I have a client that wants multiple revisions? It can take so much extra time.
Oh, okay. Get in your contract. Okay, so it does take so much time when you have someone who's indecisive with multiple revisions, and it's tough. I've kind of two answers to this question. Number one, your contract should include the set number of revisions, and how we state it is 1 round of revisions per meeting where we present to them. What that means to me is gather your thoughts, sleep on it, talk to your spouse, wife, husband, sister, brother, kids, get it together and communicate it to me in one way. So it has to be in writing. I don't do phone call communication on revisions. Email it to me, have a meeting where we sit down and mark it up together, and then you're going to email from me, putting it in writing, following up what we said. But email is a great way to handle that. Really clear what items you need to see a second option on, or blah, 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 or tweak, whatever. That is included in our flat fee. Beyond that 1 round of revisions, we have the right to assess an additional fee. When we receive the request for that additional round of revisions, we have the right to give you a number to do that additional revision. Now, sometimes if I have a star client who treats me with respect and is paying with a smile on their face and has an amazing aesthetic, and we're doing this incredible project, I have the right to charge them additional. I don't have to. I don't have to cut off my nose and cite my face. So there are times when I will let the second round of revisions go. If we get to 3, it's time to have some language around, per our agreement, we're beyond our 1 round of revisions. We would love to try to figure out if it's an in-person meeting, if it's another often a sit down, we'll sort of finish that. Getting in person and feeling really truly heard will often kind of shut that down. But we will start to use language like, we are outside of our agreement. It's time to wrap this up. We need you to kind of concisely get it together and get us back that response. And I think that's fair. And again, we really do try, we have those parameters firmly in place, and we try to give grace on top of that, and then we have that to roll back to if we need it.
Do you have a time period on your contract?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
Which can get a little crazy. I do not, because the truth is, my ideal client are 2 crazy achiever rock stars with big careers, plus children and at least 1 dog. And what that means is they are killing it in their professional and personal lives, and they are busy. And they need me because they need to hand off the care of their home, but I also need to have patience because they are busy. So I sometimes like the idea of time constraints, and I sometimes think it's a lot when obviously, family, career, health of your own health, your parents, like there's a lot on their plates often. We do have timelines that we adhere to on how long conceptual design is going to take, how long detailed design takes, etc. And I will often put in writing, we are now at risk of running outside of our timeline because we are waiting on you, but not in a crazy pressure way. Now, granted, when it just drags forever, that digs into profitability.
But I feel like whenever there is that scope creep, or when a client comes back later on, we have that language where we put up a fee. Yes. So there's never this time where we're not starting our process over or like blending it. There's a very clear, this is the timeline, which really keeps us in parameters as well as them.
Yes, and we can go back to that and say we would love to lock in conceptual design and call it complete so that we can now start the clock on detailed design, which is going to take XYZ weeks. And so we have a lot of language that helps them see that they need to play their role in the structure, and that there's something required of them back to us to kick into the next layer.
Another question from Brenda. How do you come up with those initial flat fee amounts when you are just starting out? Thanks in advance. Loving this live.
Thank you. So I heard it for 10 straight years. Well, you need to track every minute, and eventually you'll just know what to charge. You need to. And while that is essentially true, that is what the design standard, one of the key gifts to you in the design standard will be case studies with our actual hourly rate per square foot rate. we cannot give you our rate because that's price fixing, and I don't want to go to jail for monopoly. But what I can do, and what we're working to do, is give you tons and tons of case studies and examples of friends and people that live in Manhattan and have been in business for 15 years and do luxury design, and their per square foot rate is X. And then someone in Omaha who's been in business for 5 years and does more of a DIY thing, and their per square foot rate is X. And what I'm hoping is that matrix of seeing yourself, either location-wise or hours, time-wise, experience-wise, market-wise, that you can find yourself in there, and you will see that you could jump into a per square foot rate earlier and a flat fee earlier in your career than has ever been available before.
What is the design standard?
Oh, we're circling back?
If they just join.
And also, hello to RTH. Thanks for joining.
RTH, what's happening? So the design standard is our new product that we're developing. We're launching it spring of 2020, and what it is the inside scoop on everything it takes to run House of Funk. So from every email sequence we send out to a potential client, to our client onboarding program, to, again, I can't give you the beautiful contract my lawyer wrote up for me, but I can give you the bullet points of what better damn well be in your contract. I can't give you my price per square foot because, you know, that's against the law, but I can give you a ton of examples so that you can see yourself in there, so that you have sort of a flat fee calculator. I can give you a flat fee calculator in Excel that I use without that rate put in. You pick your own rate, but I can give you all those metrics. I can give you our wealth creation, wealth manifestation, blah, blah, spreadsheet to help you decide what your sales goals are every single month. So that is what we are piecing together. We're going to give you tips on PR, HR, finances, administration, your contract, how to price your design fees. I don't know. I think we should drink.
Yep. And we have a request for a question that had gone by a little earlier.
I'm going to wipe myself off. Wait, I'm moving that over.
Spring of 2020 seems so far. How can we get more advice from you ASAP?
You should watch a lot of design tips with wine in your hand. Everything's going to work out. Oh.
Here's where you sign up for.
Why are the cards all over my desk? Because check us out at houseoffunk.com/trade, where you can get on our email newsletter. That is where we're having this conversation until we launch. In addition, via the newsletter, you'll receive an invitation to... now Ryan has to take over because I don't know the words.
No, I mean, I was just going to say, we'll talk about it more, but literally if you guys sign up after today's episode, you're going to get, you're legitimately getting the wealth manifestation budget for free.
Awesome.
There is nothing to lose.
Cheers.
If you are not signing up right now, I don't know what's going on with you.
I don't know. If you're even cheersing or hearting once, you should just get on the list. Wait, what's it called? We're going to do a live where you can send very specific questions.
Oh yeah, the Designers with Standards VIP session.
Yes, so our product will be called the Design Standard. Again, bringing standards to an industry that's the Wild West. And our live will be Designers with Standards. Get it?
Yeah.
Cheeky.
Okay, so we had a request to go back to this question. What do you think is the best way to attract clients to manifest my wealth?
I like it. So many things. Okay. Stay present. Have a 30-second elevator speech about who you are and what you do and why it's important. I think there's a lot of trust. I think the very first time you have two nickels to run together, you get a professional photographer and document the work. Even if you are pulling in close on a moment you created. I've heard other I never did this, but I've heard other designers say they will work with a showroom that will let them vignette and take those photos. I thought that was brilliant. If you don't have clients to work on. I always joke, I am free for anyone whose will I am in. So if I'm in your will and I'm receiving inheritance, I will design for you and then take great photos of that. That's a great way to, just FYI, another way to maybe tax planning wise pay for your design services. No, but the idea being use the friends and family when you're early in your career and you have time for that and you have design ideas busting at the seams to give. Use those people as a place to vignette, as a place to help them out. Even if you accompany them to the store, pick a paint color, get in there, get that one corner that's perfect. You know, maybe it's not all working out, but take a really good picture. And I can't take a picture to save my life, so hire a photographer. It's worth its weight in gold.
So just a couple comments. Hello Domain says, love this discussion. I've set myself up as a flat fee model myself. Congratulations.
So good.
And then we also had just a comment from LK Design NC. This would be a great educational piece. Thank you, Sandra and the team.
Thank you.
She says you are too funny on a serious subject.
I find this subject quite comfortable. I've been in this world for a long, long time. So.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. All right, Tammy and team, any other questions? I'm looking through my notes right now. But if anybody has any
I just looked at a team member who was like, oh, I got nothing for you.
How about
I got nothing.
for those designers who haven't made a dollar bill in like a couple months and they're like, why am I even in this industry? Do you have a word of, motivation for them? Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
You seem to have it together all the time. Drink
No,
that.
I've here's a concealer and Instagram filter. Like a lot of concealer. Okay, dark eyeliner.
Hi, Dino. We have Dino on Facebook. Hello.
Dino, what's happening?
Design New Jersey.
Design New Jersey. Hello.
Hello. Love you guys. See those Christmas cards, the preview of what ends up in Design NJ. Keep going. I mean, if you are in the right space and you got a clean and clear heart about it, and there's no, like, if you're not sleeping through the night because you're not in the right world, cut bait, right? But if this is who you are and this is where you belong, then you just need to get out of your own way. And a lot of that can be fear-based, right? We talked about that earlier. Yeah. So if you are focusing on, I'm not sure, that's low energy and that's not at a high volume. But if you're like, I'm in the right career, this is where I belong, this is my art, I am manifesting my future reality, you need to kind of get into that zone of trusting it.
So how do they get to that zone? If they're swimming in the lower zone and they want to go up to the higher ones, do you have any tips for?
Okay, so a chiropractor, massage therapist, acupuncturist, a guru, a coach, a therapist. I think it's a lot of getting right with yourself. It's a lot of internal
like truth checking.
Like, does this resonate with me? Is this truth to me? Like, I really do feel like if you can open the doors to your truth, that it will come in. And not to get all crazy woo-woo, but you asked for it. And again, if there's a sticking point where it just doesn't feel right, then check yourself. Like, is this somebody else's version of your truth? We talk about it all the time. When did you give it all away? When did you give it all away? When did you become the version of yourself that someone else's expectation put on you? Like, from the classes that you took in high school, to, like, did we all take an AP blah blah yada because somebody else said you should, or that you could, or that you were possible? And did you, what degree did you go for in college? Was that your heart center, or was that someone else's idea for you? And then it just keeps going, right? Like, I had been hired by Anderson Consulting, dating myself, Accenture, when I was at the end of my sophomore year of college. I had a career. Like, I don't know if that was what I essentially wanted, or clearly not, or if I just was like, I have a job, and I'm so far from. I had not completed my first finance course, and I had a career guaranteed when I graduated. Now, this was '98, so things were a little bit better economically than we've seen in a long time. But, like, some of that is just, you're just doing the next expectation, and you're not really doing you. And so if you're having a gridlock with profitability or getting the next client or bringing it in, because if you're owning your own business, your number one role is to make it rain. You have to bring it in. Rania's doing the standing clap.
Choose to be you and making it rain.
And you can't make it rain if you're not standing in your own space. Like if you're not being you and you're not all lined up, you can't. Somebody asks you in some context that you are not business in at all. What do? If you don't sparkle and shine when you tell them, oh my God, I'm so lucky, I do what I love, I'm a designer, you aren't getting them. But if you light up like a light bulb and glow when you say that, they're like, freak-tard, and then they Google you. And that's how you make it rain. Cheers.
That's gonna be a good clip.
I think we're done here.
Yeah. So we're
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Just let's remind them where they can sign up to literally get the amazing.
Okay. Now we have to give you all the facts. That was like a really, that was a
Spreadsheet.
succinct ending. Okay. You need to find us at House of Funk / try all the slashes trade, where you can get House of Funk trade.
Or go to our website and hit the trade button at the top right.
Okay. Anyway, that's where you can get on the list. The rest we will send to you.
Yeah. DM us
Keep in
with
touch.
questions. Join us for our design sips and definitely get on the list because we're really giving away some great stuff. And I loved LK Design's comment, the motivational words you just shed should be recorded over a great beat track and played on those days of self-doubt over a catchy beat.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
So we will try to make that happen.
We might be able to work that out.
Sarah
I think
Harris
so.
loves her magic eye.
There's a lot of editing skills in the room.
And if you want your business questions answered personally, join our June 11th call.
Yes.
DM Sandra.
Yeah, DM us if you want to know where to be. We have a couple events in New York City coming up.
Yep. So Designers with Standards, it's our new kind of VIP call for designers to be guaranteed to answer their very specific question that is unique to you. I will get in the weeds with you on that call. Also, we are going to be at Lefroy Brooks on
June 4th.
June 4th. We will be at the Greenwich Design Day Center
June 5th.
June 5th. That's going to be a busy week. Anybody? And we will see you at the D&D tomorrow for all the design things happening there. I'm going to be busy. Peace out. Thanks, y'all.